area of a circle. We're going to be learning about today how to find the area of a circle using the correct formula. Just a quick recap on a few things that you should know from the previous lesson on parts of a circle and also finding the circumference of a circle. We need to know what the diameter and the radius is. So the diameter is our line that goes from one side of our circle to the other, touching the circumference and passing through the center point of our circle. And then our radius is half of a diameter. It goes from the center point to the circumference, only touching it once. So to find the area of a circle, you're going to need a specific formula. And this is the formula written out in three different ways. So we've got area of a circle is equal to pi r squared, which is the same thing as pi times by r squared, which is also the same thing as pi times r times r. Remember, square is when you times a number by itself twice. But these are the three ways that you can write out the formula. Make sure that you are writing this out and pausing where necessary and copying out the examples as we go along. So example 1, we've got our formula, pi times radius squared. We've got a circle with a radius of 7 centimeters. So when we put that into our formula, we've got pi times r squared. We know that r is 7, so we substitute it in. So it's pi times 49, which is 153.938. And we're going to put it to one decimal place, meaning it's 153.9 centimeters squared. Remember, area, we have to put units squared when we're trying to find our area. Please don't forget to take a note of that and to remember doing that when we do our tasks. Another example, we've got a circle with a radius of 5 centimeters. So it'd be in our formula, pi times 5 squared, which is pi times 25, giving us an answer of 78.539 and so on, which simplified to one decimal place is 78.5 centimeters squared. Pause this video and have a go at these questions. These questions, please try to put your answers correct to 2 decimal places. Now I'm going to put up the answer, so mark the work that you have done. And now what I like to do is try and find the area of the circle, but instead of having a circle drawn out, we're told what the lengths of the radiuses are instead of it being shown on a circle. So pause this video and have a go at these. Okay, for the first one, you should have ended up with an area of 201.06 centimeters squared. The next one was 254.47 millimeters squared, and the last one was 63.62 kilometers squared. Now another example. This one's slightly different. The reason for it is because you'll notice that we're not given the radius, we're given the diameter. So the first thing we have to do is divide our diameter by 2 to give us our radius, which is an answer of 9. We can then input it into our formula. So it's pi times 9 squared, which will give us an answer of pi times 81, and that is 254.469049, which to one decimal place is 254.5 centimeters squared. Another example, again we've got a circle with a diameter of 12 centimeters, so we have to half it first, giving us 6 centimeters. Once we put it into our formula, we get pi times 6 squared, which is pi times 36. And then we get an answer of 113.0973355, and to one decimal place that's 113.1 centimeters squared. What I'd like to do is pause this video, have a go at these 5 questions, and remembering to put your answer to 2 decimal places. I'm going to put the answers up, so please mark the questions. Now what I like to do is very similar. So in this case, you are given again the diameter in a word format rather than a circle. So find the area of a circle if they have a diameter of these 3, and pause this video and have a go. So for the first one, we should have ended up with an answer of 19.63 centimeters squared. Second one, 63.62 millimeters squared, and the last one 44.18 kilometers squared. Now we're going to work with finding the area of a semicircle. Okay, so it's a semicircle, so hopefully you'll realize that it being a semicircle, that means it's half. So a semicircle is half of a circle. Therefore, if we're trying to find the area of a semicircle, we know that the area is equal to pi r squared, and if we find the area of a semicircle, it will be divided by 2 because it's half. So the area of a semicircle is equal to pi times by your radius squared divided by 2. So this one here, our formula will be pi times by 4 squared divided by 2, which gives us pi times by 16 divided by 2, and that gives us an answer of 25.13 to 2 decimal places centimeters squared. Next example, so again it will be our area of our semicircle will be pi times radius squared divided by 2. So using our numbers that we know, we're substituting it in. So pi times 6 squared divided by 2, which is pi times by 36 divided by 2. And that gives us an answer of 56.55 millimeters squared. So pause this video and have a go. They are semicircles, so remember you're having to do pi times by radius squared divided by 2. And for these, so it gives you the radius, so just have to substitute your number into your formula and find an answer, rounding your numbers to 2 decimal places. Okay, so the answer for the first one would have been 157.08 centimeters squared. Next one, 226.19 millimeters squared. Next one, 31.81 kilometers squared. And last one, 269.56 meters squared. Now, very similar, but this time we're given the diameter. So we have to first, to find our radius, we have to do our diameter, which is 4 centimeters divided by 2, which gives us a radius of 2. So inputting it into our formula, we get pi times by 2 squared, and then divided by 2 because it is a semicircle. And when we find that out, we end up with pi times 4 divided by 2, which gives us an answer of 6.28 centimeters squared, rounded to 2 decimal places. Another example, so again you're given your diameter, so you have to find your radius, which is 8 divided by 2 in this instance, which gives you a radius with a radius of 4. Inputting that into our formula, pi times radius squared divided by 2, as it's a semicircle, which is pi times 16 divided by 2, and this gives us an answer of 25.13 millimeters squared, correct to 2 decimal places. So pause this video and have a go at these 2 questions. Again, you're given the diameter, so remember to find your radius, and then it's a semicircle, so you have to divide it by 2. Okay, so the answer to the first one would have been 47.52 centimeters squared, and the next one would have been 76.97 millimeters squared.